Hello everyone, welcome to the tiny room. I'm Mick, I'm here with Ben. Say hello, Ben.
Piss off, Mick.
Very good. Good start. This isn't the podcast, we're just here to talk about Thor Ragnarok because we liked it.
It's great.
It was, so we're going to keep it tight. It's going to be a tight 20.
Tight 20.
So Ben, tell us, did you like the film or did you not like the film?
I really liked the film.
Okay, good. Review over!
Yay! Good job, everyone.
What did you like about the film?
Well,
go on.
Michael, as you know, I'm sometimes a little apprehensive before I go to a Marvel film.
Or when you handle a cat.
Or when I handle a cat, which we found out today.
Yes.
Got very tense handling. It's just because your cat doesn't like me.
Yeah.
She thinks I'm a real bad egg. She's probably right. But I'm sometimes a little apprehensive before I go to a Marvel film.
Mm-hmm.
Especially where a certain Norse god of thunder is concerned.
Oh.
Because you'll recall the first time that he made his cinematic solo outing.
Yeah.
We had fucking Shakespeare in the Park.
It was very good. Yeah, I like it. It's very good.
Yea, verily. 'Tis a good film.
Thor 1 is a good film.
No, it's not.
It is.
It's not. It's
It
Kenneth
is.
Branagh who thought he was doing Shakespeare, and then they told him he had to have a lad who swung a hammer sometimes, and he was like, "Oh, I can work with that."
And it was great. You're a vain and foolish boy. Bah!
Yeah. Waste of Anthony Hopkins.
No, it's not. It's great, Anthony Hopkins.
Waste of Hopkins.
Look, Ben, we've gone off track already. I really liked Thor Ragnarok, but there was nothing with the emotional impact of that.
You're wrong.
Totally right.
Moving on to the next part.
Okay,
Then we had Thor: The Dark World with Christopher Eccleston.
Barely.
Every planet has a north,
Yeah, that's Doctor Who though. That's not Thor.
including the elf. Well, assumedly. But anyway, awful.
No, just bad, not awful.
Awful film.
No, just bad, not
Tons
awful.
of scarlet CGI
Yeah,
and angry elves and
greyness.
and unnecessary deaths that were used to propel characters into unnecessary conflict so we could have something that they'd all have to fight for.
I don't
Dead
remember.
Freya.
Oh,
Frigga, whatever.
Oh yeah, she died.
Well,
in that.
Frigga friggin' dies.
Ah, very good.
So I didn't like those. But
Yes.
I'm very happy to say
Yes.
that the director of this one, I'm not going to get his name right,
Taika Waititi.
Taika Waititi, took down his trousers and pissed all over the terrible, terrible, terrible bloated corpses of Kenneth Branagh's Thor and Alan Taylor's Thor: The Dark World, because this film is phenomenal.
It's very good.
Yes.
What do you mean he pissed all over the corpses?
He quite clearly makes references to films 1 and 2. One example is the Warriors 3.
Oh.
Who appear for 5. Sorry, by the way, before we go, spoilers.
Full spoilers.
Like full, hardcore, get your children out of the room spoilers.
Yes.
Okay? And he murders the first two of the Warriors 3 within 20 seconds of them being on screen.
I think they had about 20 seconds of screen time, and
Yeah.
15 seconds of those were over elaborate deaths.
Yeah, one of them was very elaborate.
Yeah.
The blonde guy has like a full on like, Anyway. And then the other warrior, he lasts a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But he gets a whooping nonetheless.
Yeah, and then he gets very, very violently killed.
Yeah, she sorts him out for the impudence of his survival. And then my favourite scene might be the large middle finger to Kenneth Branagh's overly Shakespearean one, which is where he's talking to Surtur.
Right.
On the throne.
Yes.
And Surtur is leaning back in the throne in traditional kind of
King
regal villain kind of repose, and he's giving his monologue, and Thor keeps breaking it by spinning on his chain and going, "Oh, hang on, it'll be back around. It'll be back around."
Also, in that sense of like pissing on the first two, his hammer gets destroyed.
Yes,
Within
and it
the
just
first-
takes that and vaporizes.
Yeah, so Thor doesn't have a hammer now.
Thor doesn't have a hammer
Yeah, or long hair.
or long hair
Or his armour.
or his armor.
He's totally different.
Please, kind sir, don't cut my hair.
That's very good.
But yeah, I just think it did a really good job of kind of looking at those two and really setting itself apart. It didn't necessarily piss in the ashes. I'm sure it did a great deal to... Well, no, it didn't. But it just set itself apart very quickly, very clearly from that. There's no Jane Foster.
Good.
excellent. There's no Lady Sif, not so good, but it's fine. She's replaced by someone better, I think.
You know, if she had been in it, she probably would have died horribly.
Yeah, because that's apparently what we were doing with canon characters.
Yeah.
No Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah.
He just doesn't even pop up. No annoying Kat Dennings from Two Broke Girls doing a quick...
Whatever her name was. Darcy something.
Darcy Two Broke Girls.
Yes.
That's a real second name. They're all gone. And I actually took a quick flick over the Thor Reddit.
Oh, you love a Reddit.
And the Marvel Insta.
Mm-hmm.
And there were all kinds of posts like, where are they? They have like the 4 faces.
Good.
And it's like a little social campaign.
Good.
But I think any complaints people have will be instantly silenced when they see the actual film.
Let's talk about the characters that replaced those characters.
Yes.
Because they were good ones, weren't they?
They were excellent.
I liked most of them.
Yes. Anything that Taika, I'm going to get that wrong every time, but that's fine. He clearly has a really strong sense of character and comedic timing, given his back catalogue, and he just works that in incredibly well. His characters have great dialogue, really distinct personalities.
Apparently up to 80% improvised. I said in an almost New Zealand accent for some reason.
Well, for him, that does not shock me. So he plays Korg.
Korg's the best character, I think, that's ever...
Oh my god.
He's one of them.
I pulled you off.
Yeah, very good. That's not going to make much sense to people who haven't seen it, but to people who have seen
Doesn't matter. Yeah.
He's easily the best character.
He is the best comic relief that Marvel have ever put in a film.
Yeah.
He takes all that. The reason they don't have Kat Dennings and her annoying little, like, oh, this is crazy little side monologues is because they have Korg to do all that now, and it's just better.
He's much funnier.
And rockier.
I thought before, I think everyone thought that the risk of this film was that Hulk was going to overshadow Thor, but he really doesn't. No, it's an ensemble.
Yeah, they suit each other quite well. They're very well balanced characters. You have a little bit of sympathy for Hulk as we go through the film. Got a lot of sympathy for Thor. Probably more sympathy for Hulk as it goes through. You kind of realise. I think it was a really cool move that he's stuck as Hulk. I thought it was really interesting that Hulk, not necessarily Banner, gets a lot more character development in this one. And you can kind of see that he doesn't want to go back. And you see that connection between Banner and the Hulk, as every time Banner is trapped inside the Hulk is trapped inside Banner. It's kind of like a confined space for both of them. So it was interesting.
And it was also, I thought what was interesting was the restraint with which Tom Hiddleston played Loki.
Yeah, he's not, because he's very panto in Avengers. He's very grand and over the top. And
you don't like Avengers, do you?
So, I don't. But even from a non-hating Avengers point of view, he's a little bit over the top as Loki, like the kneel and the treating humans as insects. Like he's big superiority complex in this one, and again in this one he plays it much better. Like I think 5 of the best minutes in that is him pretending to be Odin, realizing that he's been caught by Thor.
Very good scene.
And Anthony Hopkins does this amazing job of being Loki shitting himself.
Yeah,
it's just this really kind of like fuck.
What about Valkyrie? Talk about Valkyrie.
Fantastic addition to the character. She's the first kind of look at an Asgardian who doesn't fawn over the royal family. Loki doesn't do that, but he's part of the royal family and he has his own reasons for not fawning over them. But she's an expat of Asgard.
Actually, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. did that.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Yeah, but
what did they have?
They had a guy who was from Asgard. He was played by that creepy guy from Ally McBeal, and he didn't want to go back to Asgard and he didn't think much of the royal family. But anyway, this is the first mainstream.
Okay, well, she for me, who doesn't watch the ABC version of things, she's a really interesting window into how little the royal family do on occasion. I don't know, she's very much uncomfortable with the idea of it, and you get this sense that I think that's one of the really interesting things they do in this film. They show you the bloody history of Asgard. Odin is not...
He's a bad egg.
He's not the benevolent all-father. He's the war god that he is in the actual mythology.
And also, they explained why there are only 9 realms.
Yeah.
Because Odin only he stopped after he'd conquered 9 realms.
He stopped after
which very firmly then puts the 9 realms in just their space.
Yeah.
They're in space. They're planets.
Yeah.
The 9 realms are planets.
The 9 realms are planets. Oh no, like this builds much more on cosmic Thor than... Again, that's another thing. It moves away from mythological Thor
into alien
Thor. Like there's spaceships, there's other aliens.
There's great spaceships.
There's great spaceships. Orgy ships abound.
Yeah.
It really moves him away from that mythological sense.
What about the visuals? Did you like the visuals?
Unbelievable. Obviously, Taika
Waititi.
thank you. He obviously spent a lot of time with James Gunn around Guardians of the Galaxy 2 especially. And if you look at his Instagram, you can see that he did. He went and met a lot of the people in that, obviously because possibly they're going to be working together in the future.
A lot of people were calling this, including us, I think, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, because it's Asgard. But it really isn't.
I think it's much better.
Yeah. It has a unique...
I think you said it when we went to see it. You said it's a comedy film that happens to have superheroes in it.
Yes.
And I think it really stands out in terms of there's nothing shoehorned about the humour in Thor. It's very natural. The timing is nearly perfect.
That's hilarious.
And I think because you're going to have to say his name again.
Taika Waititi.
Taika. I think because of his background where he films regular New Zealand people in comedies, he's just good at giving things a grounded kind of background. He's good at making sure that you relate to the people. They're not gods in this. It's just a dysfunctional family thing. Two brothers that have to get on again.
And a big giant rock monster.
And a big giant rock monster who is very clumsy and blunt. And I think it's... I don't know, it just works really well in that regard. Aesthetically, unbelievable. It has all the colours and more.
All the colours.
All the colours and more.
Purple.
But it's like a
yellow.
really... Yeah, purple, yellow.
Red.
Petrol blue,
orange,
crimson red. We've stacks of different colours, and they play around with them a lot, and it's completely reminiscent of Jack Kirby's style. It matches all of that, and the aesthetic of Sakaar in this one is just Jack Kirby land come to life.
With a bit of Junk Planet. It's
Scavenger Planet.
Yeah. Do you think, Ben?
Yes.
Was it? Do you think the best Marvel movie yet?
Yes.
Yes, I agree.
Yes.
That was easy, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. And you could easily take this film out of Marveldom. And it would be a fantastic film by itself. It is a fantastic film regardless of whether it's in Marvel or not. But it's one of the few that you could show to anyone.
Do you think... No, that's the question. The question is, do you think...
Do you think?
Do you think that?
Yes, I think that if you're looking for a way to turn a superhero skeptic into a possible Marvel fan, you sit them down in front of Thor 3 and you go, look at that.
Do you not think that part of why it's funny is because the character's history? Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think Loki and Thor are the only ones that need any real history. I think Anthony Hopkins, more or less, good performance, but barely in it.
Any kind of father figure you could have slotted in there and had a little roam around with. But in terms of, I think their relationship is sold better because of those two actors. I think Tom Hiddleston and Thor have an interesting, and Chris Hemsworth. Sorry,
it's not his real name.
Chris Hemsworth. He probably is the one who's most synonymous with his character, though. Apart from maybe Tony Stark.
Yeah.
It's hard. Okay, but they have a really clear relationship. But in terms of actual bromances and stuff, I think Mark Ruffalo and Chris Hemsworth were much closer to having like a... But the chemistry between all the actors is very clear. I don't think it's necessary to know their backstory. I think you can fill in their backstory very, very quickly.
Some of the jokes would probably miss without the backstory.
But not as many as you'd think.
Well, the only way to figure out is to test it. By bringing someone.
Yeah, that's true. Who do we know who hasn't seen?
We'll find one.
We'll find someone and we'll do that.
So come here.
Yeah.
I was having a look at some other people's reviews.
Oh.
And what's interesting about this is it's incredibly well reviewed. But everyone who reviews it says it's a pretty good film, all right. It's pretty good. It's very funny. It's very enjoyable. The visuals are amazing. It's great. Isn't it a shame that Taika Waititi had to do a superhero film?
Are they being snobby because Taika Waititi is an independent director who does very well for himself independently?
I think that's what it might be. I think it might just be people being snobby.
Is there snobbery going on here?
I think there might be a bit of snobbery because for me, Ben, this is my favourite film of the year. It has.
I think, yeah.
It has surpassed Blade Runner 2049.
Oh, damn. Yeah, it's. I think maybe for me as well. I don't think I've laughed so openly in a film in a very long time.
It was so funny.
So do you think it's just a bit of a thing where independent people who enjoy going to Cannes and various independent cinemas are going, oh...
I think just movie critics, people who are professional movie critics...
Like Peter Travers of The Guardian, who I can't stand.
Probably.
What a wanker.
They have to not like what's popular.
Why?
So, even though this is a great movie, and he says this is a great movie...
It's a well-made, well-written, well-directed, perfectly timed, within genre, outside genre film.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. It's a great film. Were you upset that the trailers lied to us?
Yeah. There's quite a few more ocular biological things.
That's the thing. I was thinking about this the other day. In the world of CG and trailers being relatively cheap to produce these days, because you can just slap some stuff together. They really lied to us quite a bit in the trailers. For example, that famous shot where Hela says, "What are you the god of again?" And then Thor comes down and he's all lightningy. He has two eyes in the trailer.
He does.
He doesn't have two eyes in the film, though, does he?
I think you would have gotten more people in if you had shown that.
The one eye.
I think people would have been like, "How did Thor lose an eye? Get into the cinema there, see what happened."
The other thing is the whole subplot of Odin being lost in New York
was cut
and replaced with Odin deciding to go to a fjord in Norway.
And leaving the plane voluntarily, the plane of existence.
Yeah, very interesting.
As Disney sparkles.
Very interesting that they redid that. And probably also reduced Doctor Strange's participation.
Yeah. Destiny has dire plans for you, my friend.
That American accent was too good.
Oh, okay.
Do it worse.
Well, Benedict Cumberbatch was terrible. Destiny has... That was very funny, that whole scene. Like that... If you're not interested in seeing Thor and you want to see what I mean about Taika Waititi's comedic timing, look at that one scene where he visits the Sorcerer Supreme, where he visits Doctor Strange. Look at the timing, the way that it's shot between those two characters who have no history of each other, and you'll understand exactly what I mean when I say he has perfect comedic timing. Everything in that short scene is just exemplary of the film as a whole. Also, they did a good job of beefing up Doctor Strange's powers all of a sudden. He went from a novice to being...
Well, I think a lot of that was because they were in his sanctum.
Yeah, maybe.
Because he was able to teleport around at will. He can't teleport around at will in normal life.
Yeah.
So he has to use his magic ring.
Because Loki has a little go at him and it doesn't turn out too well for Loki.
Well, they just get teleported away. Loki's a pretty powerful sorcerer, I imagine.
He's supposed to be.
Yeah. Well, maybe there'll be a showdown. Complete spoilers now. Loki definitely stole that Tesseract.
Oh yeah, it's definitely in his pocket.
And he's definitely giving it to bloody big purple space rays.
Thanos.
That's the one.
Is it to get him off his back, do you think?
Exactly.
What's the ship in the end credit sequence?
It's a Thanos ship.
Is it a Kree ship or is it a Thanos ship?
It's a Thanos ship.
It's a Thanos ship.
Yeah.
Alright.
Shall we wrap it up?
Yeah.
Let's wrap it up.
It's pretty good. So, yeah, fucking...
Oh, stop swearing so much.
Pissing great film, mate. Fucking amazing.
Great film. Listen to the podcast. It's out every Monday. Bye.
Bye.